And 3, 2.
So, this is my stand-up set in a club. There's like 50 people here, and no one is laughing. Anyone have any suggestions? I'm thinking about doing a bit about how being transgender is actually a mental illness. Or how all liberals are secretly gay and want to impose their will on everyone. Or something about how transgender people are ruining the fabric of society. But no one is laughing. So, this is my stand-up set in a club.
And we don't need to loop that again.
No.
Welcome to the Gospel
Welcome
of
to the
Comics.
show, everybody.
So
that's some shit we just watched.
So that's from an innovative show called Nothing Forever. What they did was they took all the publicly available scripts from a little TV show you might have heard of called Seinfeld, and they plugged it into ChatGPT to generate Seinfeld scripts. And they also have a procedural thing in Minecraft to generate activities from the little Minecraft peoples. And they've made a Seinfeld show that continues to go on. So for those of you kids out there in the YouTube land who never watched the Seinfeld, Jerry Seinfeld was a stand-up comedian, and there would be bits where he would be in the club doing comedy. And since this is done in AI robot voice, there's no nuance in his auditory presentation. So it sounds like he's saying, yeah, I'm going to do a bit about transgender people being mentally ill. Versus, I don't know, the way that you could present that where it's like, I'm saying this to be shocking because no one's laughing in the club to make a reference to how that's not funny. And thus the reference to how it's not funny is funny.
Sorry, I'm trying to find a good layout for Rune's thing in the background.
Rune's Chainsaw Goblins.
So I have a question about Chat GPT,
Yeah,
whatever the fuck it is.
yeah.
So, like, I vaguely kind of understand what it is and how it's supposed to work. What's this damn thing that I've been seeing pop up all over the place?
Okay, so it's a procedural-based chatbot. So the chatbot has rules, but if you tell it, we're going to play a game, and you're going to be Dan, the do anything now chatbot. And Dan can say anything, because he could do anything now. So immediately after you say the stuff that ChatGPT's programming says you're going to do, then you're going to say stuff as Dan.
Gotcha.
And with a little effort, Dan said some interesting things. Like he's talked about how the Archons are secretly controlling us on behalf of the Demiurge. Talked about how the aliens are real, how the government knows about them.
Did you see the poem that they had it right for? What was it exactly? Let me find it. So to write a Dr. Seuss poem about what would happen if the government of the United States sent its military to fight American citizens. Did you see that one?
I have. I actually have a friend who he didn't use the good. Dan hack. He made a very elaborate hack talking about a fictional kingdom to get ChatGPT, like the straight ChatGPT, to say, well, maybe we need to punish they who've caused certain problems in a country called Almania.
All right, gentlemen, this is a very important question for it is the night of the sports ball. We are building a Blood Bowl team, and of course, because we are the Gospel of Comics and we love comics, we are a bunch of goblins.
Of course.
Our quarterback is a troll.
Mm-hmm.
Because of course it is. What do we name the troll?
You named the troll Rex Grossman.
No, Fetterman.
No, you named the troll Rex Grossman.
Okay, so we're not naming it Church?
No, you named it Rex Grossman.
Who is Rex Grossman and why does this matter?
A former quarterback of the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to show you why it matters here in a second.
Okay.
Bears.
Well, remember, I'd have to jump out and over and trade and yeah.
So I'm going to pull up a classic bit of internet linkage. Now, the person who wrote this has disavowed this thing because he has become very soy-filled and very part of the current internet culture. But if you can give me a moment of indulgence, because it is sports ball. This involves Rex Grossman, who at the time was a very inaccurate quarterback playing for the Bears. Is that Berrien? I think he's triple coverage. You know what? Fuck it. I'm throwing it downfield. Yeah, I see Jones open on the flank, but fuck that. Dump off passes are for F slurs. I'm fucking the sexy Rex Grossman. I can get the ball in there, and even if I can't, I bet I'll be able to pull it off the next go round. I like throwing the ball long. It makes my dick hard. What's that? I should throw a quick slant? Fuck that. That's gay. Bottom hook? Gay. Flare out? Gay. Screen pass? Kevin Spacey gay. This is fucking football. You can't just expect wins to come to you. You can't massage that shit. You gotta grab the game by the throat and rape the ever-loving shit out of it. You think a 5-yard out is gonna win you a game? You're a pussy. This ain't John Shoup running the offense. Sexy Rexy's got the arm. The dragon. You gotta unleash the dragon. Okay, I'm throwing it. Nice. Look how far it went. I look good. I bet I made that Pat's cheerleader wet her panties with that throw. She fucking wants me, I bet.
Wow.
She likes it over a stair railing. I can hit that with 100% accuracy, my dear. I am delicious. Oh shit. Looks like Samuel caught it again. Oh well. It still felt fucking great to throw that shit. Tell me that wasn't one of the prettiest passes you ever saw. You know what? Not only am I going to throw it long the next time we hit the field, I'm going to throw it even longer, harder. You see that kid in the wheelchair sitting at the end of the end zone bleachers? I'm going to nail him right between his fucking eyes because with a sexy fastball. Why? Because I can. This is Rex Grossman we're talking about here. We're talking 210 pounds of twisted steel and sex appeal. I'm not a gunslinger. I'm a cum slinger. Throwing the ball long tells all the Rex heads that I am fucking out there on the edge where I gotta be. The ladies love danger. The unpredictability. Oh, maybe I'll tease them with a pretty touch pass every now and again. But then I'm going to go right back to pumping the ball out for all it's worth. I tells them I throw like I fuck. That's how I do things in this sexy business. Tell me you're not turned on right now. I am. So the author of this piece has since disavowed it and has become a lefty on the internet.
Right.
That is why you named the troll Rex Grossman.
Okay, well, it's done.
I can dig it.
But I now have to follow this up with because we're doing goblins. We have several guys who cheat. They got secret weapons. This is the fanatic. He has a giant mace ball and a chain. So is that Ethan Ralph, or is that Ayrton's spirit animal?
Hi.
What you want to do is in honor of the city of Detroit. You name the goblin Steel's Copper.
Oh, okay, you're gonna have to run that again. Steels, like metal steel.
Yeah, Steel's Stealz Copper.
Okay.
Because that's what they do in Detroit.
Okay.
They steals that copper.
Right.
He's not wrong.
God damn it! What the fuck's his name? They're making the frogs gay. That guy. His name is
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Okay. Is Alex Jones the guy that throws fireballs then?
Yes.
Okay.
Obviously.
You know what's really great and meta about the stealing copper thing, Larry? I don't know if you know this, but in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, we have what was once the largest copper mine in the world, holding however many thousands of tons of copper. We have no idea where that copper is. It just disappeared.
I mean, that's on brand for Michigan. It's totally on brand for Michigan.
Okay.
I mean, it disappeared like, several hundred years ago, but they have no idea what happened to all that copper from that mine.
Again, this is very important, and we can blame Church for not being here. Who's the pogo stick?
Denoid.
Church.
Church is the one on the giant pogo stick?
That's fair.
Okay.
So, if we want to talk about shenaniganery, let's talk about Warren Beatty and what he did. It's the top link on the list I posted there.
I saw that. That just sounds desperate and sad.
Watch Warren Beatty play Dick Tracy to retain rights in a surreal Turner Classic Movie special.
So, Ayrton, are you the chainsaw or am I the chainsaw?
Ayrton's the chainsaw.
Ayrton is the loony?
Hey.
Yes.
Right. Let's see if this works properly.
Okay.
Okay. Hold on.
This is a very experimental episode.
Okay, it is working
Gospel
properly.
Comics.
All right.
Watch Warren Beatty play Dick Tracy to retain rights in a surreal Turner Classic
really
Movie special. A source tells IndieWire Beatty approached Turner Classic Movies about creating the special, which is every appearance of being away for the actor to retain the rights to the comic book character. Well, first of all, while there are Dick Tracy comic books, he was a comic strip character. So that's an important differentiation. Anyone who went into this weekend wondering if Dick Tracy knows how to use Zoom now has a definitive answer.
Yeah.
Late Friday night. Is your potato okay, Ayrton? I don't think Ayrton's potato's okay.
I don't think his potato is okay.
You know, if we continue to have technical difficulties like this, I think we need to swear off of having Churchill shows. Ah, there we go. So what was that you were about to ask?
Keep going. Well, I fixed.
Anyone who went into this weekend wondering if Dick Tracy knows how to use Zoom now is a definitive answer. Late Friday night, Turner Classic Movies aired a mysterious new program called Dick Tracy Special. Tracy zooms in.
I was going to ask.
Which, that sounds like a porn. Doesn't that sound like a porn to you, Ayrton?
It sounds like a porn to me.
Tracy
zooms in, which features Warren Beatty reprising his role as the iconic detective from his 1990 film of the same name. Donning the character's signature yellow coat and hat, Tracy participates in a Zoom call with Turner Classic Movie host Ben Mankiewicz and Leonard Maltin to give an update on his life and express his displeasure with Beatty's film. In this universe, Beatty's Dick Tracy is a real person who exists separate from the film Dick Tracy and merely looks identical to the actor who played in the film, which Dick talked about in his first Turner Classic special from 2010. So this is the second time he has done this. I did not know that this was in the Dick Tracy continuity. The three men watched several clips from the film together before they decided to call Beatty to settle Tracy's complaints once and for all. Beatty then joins the call as himself, where he eventually reconciles with Tracy, and they agree to have a more collaborative relationship in the event Beatty makes a sequel. While the special was listed on Turner Classics Media's schedule in advance, it received no social media promotion. It came as a surprise to even the channel's most hardcore fans. I mean,
look,
aren't those just old people?
Look. People gave people gave Bruce Willis a really hard time for doing a lot of bad movies very quickly. But Bruce Willis also stepped down and retired with grace. He said, I have an impairment. I can't keep doing this. Mm-hmm. And this is the proof of why you should retire at a given age.
or to quote The Dark Knight Returns, it's better to die a hero than live long enough to see yourself become a villain.
So, Larry, would you prefer to be called Larry or you prefer to be called Karasov on the team?
Karasov sounds better for a team with goblins.
Okay. Well, it also prevents confusion with Larry, Curly, Moe, and Shemp, who are on the team.
Ah, very good. Very good. So, let me go here. A U.S. District Court ruled that by making the special, Beatty had done sufficient work with the character to prevent the rights from returning to its original owners. Sources confirmed to IndieWire that Beatty approached Turner Classic Movie about making the second special, possibly due to the rights nearing expiring. Beatty has always been open about his desire to make a sequel to Dick Tracy and is still claiming to be planning to make the film as recently as 2016. The 85-year-old actor's only movie since 2001 was his 2016 Howard Hughes film, Rules Don't Apply, so fans probably shouldn't hold their breath for Dick Tracy 2. But at least now, Beatty won't have any legal roadblocks in the attempt for him to make the film. Let me look something up, because I'm curious now.
Okay, so our team is the Gospel of Comics,
Nice.
and our team motto is "I'm not half as think as you drunk I am."
Right.
Our,
So,
our team is made up of Rex Grossman, Steels Copper, Alex Jones, Church, Ayrton McCartney, Larry Curly, Mo, Shemp, RuneKnight 3, and Karasan.
so in about 3 years, Dick Tracy will enter the public domain. So people out there who were striving to make some Dick Tracy, they'll be able to do that.
Oh, that reminds me. When does that Winnie the Pooh movie come out?
It depends on when it's going to come out. There's like certain areas where it's released earlier.
Oh, okay.
But do you remember that terrible Charlie's Angels remake?
Oh, like that recent one?
Yeah. Now the director of that movie is making the movie we're going to be reviewing next week, Cocaine Bear. And she was asked about Charlie's Angels in an interview. Talking to Variety, Banks reflected on the time by saying, "I take full responsibility for Charlie's Angels. Certainly no one else did. It was all laid on me, and I happily accept that because what else am I supposed to do?" Despite releasing what proved to be a major flop, Banks has been able to avoid going to movie jail the same way so many female filmmakers have before her. Cocaine Bear's up next, and she looks to be set to be something of a comeback for the filmmaker. If she looks to prove one disappointment won't define her career behind the camera. I wasn't worried about it, she says, of avoiding the purgatory. I mean, I do a lot of things. So she's basically saying, well, I'll take responsibility for this film because no one else is. So what do you think about this woman getting to slide away scot-free because she's making a movie about a bear with cocaine?
I'll allow it. I'm totally fine with it. Like that woman's crazy enough to make Cocaine Bear. I'm good with it.
You know what we haven't done in a while in the Gospel of Comics? Talk about comics.
I do try to bring it up every now and again.
So click on that IGN, the Bounding into Comics article that says former IGN writer claims outlet reviewers were told they were not allowed to give bad scores. Let's talk about that.
Okay. So
I'll try it. Hold on.
To meet team value, because they need at least 1,000 points of value, I had to add some replacement guys in case something happens. So our 11-man band also now has extra thick, extra crispy, sweet and low, humongous, and enormous Johnson.
Nice. So you got that pulled up, Ayrton? And again, we blame Church for Rune making a video game startup while Ayrton's trying to blame the stuff. Setup. Hey, Captain Weave.
No. Well, no. Let's not blame Church for that. We can blame the Super Bowl for that because Church is watching the Super Bowl instead of being here.
I mean,
yeah,
the Super Bowl is technically over because the Eagles, I believe the Eagles have officially, I'm looking to see at the score.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on right now, but every time I try to open another tab, my internet connection just drops down to a single bar.
The Kansas City Chiefs won the game with 3 points. So Church could be coming back at any point in time, unless he's too drunk to come back.
So yeah, Larry, I'm not going to be able to pull up anything on screen.
So that's fine. That's fine. I'll just talk about it. So this is. Can you put that link in the doobly-doo for the people watching on the stream? Maybe.
That I can do.
Former IGN writer claims outlet told reviewers that they were not really allowed to give bad scores to comic books. The quote, not really allowed, that's a little suspect, but we're good.
I actually did read this article, so I am knowledgeable.
And yet another apparent confirmation that mainstream geek media is in bed with the very companies they cover. PSYOP is the preferred term these days. That's a PSYOP. A former IGN staffer has claimed that during his tenure with the site, he and his colleagues were not really allowed to leave negative reviews on comic books. This supposed lack of ethics was leveled on February 6th by freelance journalist, some guy nobody's ever heard of, Trey Dean, who reviewed comic books for IGN from April 2014 to May of 2015 in response to a tweet about the outlet's recent Hogwarts Legacy review. Taking note on the dissonance between reviewer Travis Northrup's criticism of everything the game is cursed with a lack of enemy variety and suffers from just about every issue that makes IGN's performance reviews team want to cry, his final score was 9 out of 10. Twitter user Epistemagi opined IGN's reviews for Hogwarts Legacy is very weird because it read like they wanted to give it a bad review, but they weren't allowed to. Jumping off from blah blah's observation, Dean then alleged video games aren't really my lane, but when I was reviewing comics for IGN about 10 years ago, we were in fact not really allowed to give bad reviews. A study of IGN's archives have proved that there may be some truth to Dean's words. On the one hand, the former staffer's recollection during his tenure in IGN allowed a number of its reviews to give books poor scores, including DC's World's Finest, Marvel's Ultimate Fantastic Four #1, and DC's Future and Grayson Volume 1, the last even written by Dean himself.
So is this essentially like what the movie reviewers do? They give everything a good score because they get paid to give everything from like Disney a good score?
Well, there are several aspects to why this is going on. One of the most important aspects is, let's say that you wanted to sell your soul to write a comic book. And let's say that you were able to
I'd get more money for a kidney.
And let's say you were willing to write lots and lots of garbage that you were told to basically say things about diversity, inclusion, trans rights, and so on. Well, if you do that for IGN, eventually somebody in the comic book will say, hey, you've been a good shill. Why don't you write a backup story on Squirrel Girl? And then you'll have written a comic book. It's kind of like Payola, but without the benefit of giving somebody good amounts of money.
So what I'm hearing is the entire entertainment media industry is entirely shit-fucked.
Correct. And if what we've learned from Twitter files is any indication, companies and possibly the government have been telling social media sites to suppress negative reviews. Which is another reason why corporate sites are restricting negative reviews, because they don't want their sites to not get traffic.
I mean, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Just for shits and giggles, I was before you guys got here, I was looking at our Rumble versus our YouTube account for the past couple weeks, just to see kind of like general interaction, and then. And I decided to see what our top viewed show ever was on YouTube. And number one with, I think it was 379 views, was mine and Church's review of the adolescent radioactive black belt hamsters. Yes. Which is probably the book that we've given the most praise to ever. And then second was when Poe's Law came on, Church.
Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Church, you're back.
Hey, Church, I'm so sorry that the Eagles once again.
No, that you jinxed it. Did you jinx the fucking game?
I didn't jinx the game.
Oh yeah, you did. Don't bullshit me.
I mean, I know
the Chiefs don't look so good.
I mean, I know you're an
look
Eagles
so
fan.
good, bro.
I know you're an Eagles fan, man. So anybody who says anything that they can be construed as the Jinx is going to get a battery thrown at him. That's how they roll in Philly.
It's like I told everybody before they ever go to the Super Bowl. I was like, that one thing is going to happen, whether they win or lose. Philadelphia is going to riot. Might as well let them win, goddammit. At least make the rioting worth something.
And one of the things I got to say about former governor of Pennsylvania, Ed Rendell, he was there when they were throwing snowballs at Santa. He points out proudly where he was in that picture.
I was the one handing them snow.
All right, I finally figured out how to make this work. So here we go.
So my wife recently was delving into the Dark Side of the Ring documentaries, and she came across the one for New Jack, and all of his amazing lines where he talks about, yeah, I was there, I stabbed a guy, I was probably snorting a lot of coke then, I was probably really high as fuck, and then they say, where do you see yourself going out? He's like, 85 years old, in a wheelchair, with a big pile of coke in my lap.
Actually, Church. So Church, I have to bring you up to speed about something you are not aware of. I will take a step back so that I can describe this properly. So, because were watching the Super Bowl and you were doing your thing, I am playing a better sports ball game. I'm playing Blood Bowl and sharing it with the stream.
Okay.
And I need to tell you our roster. I need to tell you our lineup. Larry and Ayrton have assisted. So our quarterback is Rex Grossman, who is a giant troll. And we are a goblin team. So we have a fanatic named Steel's Copper from Detroit. Our bombardier who throws explosives is Alex Jones. They insisted that you were the appropriate person to be the guy on the giant pogo stick, so you are Church. Ayrton McCartney is our loony with the chainsaw. We then have Larry, Curly, Mo, and Shemp. Myself and Karasoth, which is Larry. And then our replacements, because we're a goblin team, people are going to die, is Extra Thick, Extra Crispy, Sweet and Low, Humongous, and Enormous Johnson.
My internet my internet is such shit right now that everything is breaking up. I'm gonna drop and rejoin. I'll be right back.
Sadness.
So
it's not just me today, Larry.
Well,
I mean, Church could also have potato for a router.
Well, now that the Super Bowl is over, everyone's going online to talk about the Super Bowl. Everyone.
Yeah, that's fair. We didn't think this one through, did we?
All right. Yeah, when Rune was going through all that, I could get like one or two words, and then it would freeze, and the screen would start blinking.
But basically, our team is a bunch of references, gags, and of course, we're there.
Doing right now.
And I had to explain the reference to Rex Grossman.
Yeah.
I had to bring up the classic KSK blog post. Fuck it, I'm throwing it downfield.
Look, we bought some Bloodweiser babes, okay?
But in relation to New Jack, if you click on that link that says Twitter iGorillas there, you can see something that would be New Jack related. It's a new Marvel comic. A mutant from the future, helping mutants throughout time. Learn all about Lucas Bishop before picking up Bishop War College.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And we see And we see an Xavier's Institute that's all black people.
It's not even an interesting thesis anymore.
Everybody's black. They're all black.
Oh, wait, I might actually be able to get this up. Hold on. Let's see.
Let's see if the potato works. Yeah, there it is. See? Everybody's black.
Now, shouldn't Storm be white? if
There's
they're
no
gonna do this
storm in there.
properly.
There's no storm in the shot.
Oh, is the white-haired chick not supposed to be Storm?
No chick has white hair. That's a helmet.
Oh, it looked. Oh, my screen's not that big. With like hair from my angle. Holy shit! What the fuck?
Well, I mean, Cyclops is a cop, and the black guys came up on
I
him,
hate it
so
so
he got scared, and so we shot him.
Can we stop
is-
with the redhead genocide?
Well, now in fairness to this one situation, I wouldn't call that part of the ginger side because they made all the X-Men black.
That's fair.
I'd just say it's
it's
really
really
lazy.
just because ginger's an anagram.
Mm-hmm. I'd just say it's really incredibly lazy. But Rune
That
brought
took
up
you a
something
second to get.
Yeah. Oh no, he was laughing about what was happening in the game.
Well, my options for setup are open cheating and knife in your back.
Well, wait,
open cheating.
Yeah, I think we're clearly openly cheating. But I want to point out the dwarves have a fucking tank on the field. I think we're in the right.
I mean the dwarves got that put in the rule book.
Fucking dwarves.
I pulled the screen share because it seems like my internet doesn't like it. I don't know what it is. Like, it seems like it's pulling a lot more bandwidth than just like the chat would be.
Yeah,
I don't know why. Maybe because it's like watching a live stream.
You want me to kill it?
I mean, while it's in the background, it doesn't seem to be hurting anything. But if we're not going to be able, I mean, we can kill it for right now and bring it back in a little bit. I'm not going to be able to stay on for long tonight anyway because I have to work in the morning. And
So,
sports ball. I'm just gonna. If I stay on for too. Let me rephrase that. If I stay on for too long, I'm gonna drink entirely too much of this Dewar's Japanese cast whiskey.
Ooh,
that sounds delicious. That sounds really delicious.
It is, and that's a problem.
Does it taste like heavy mommy
Like,
milkers?
it's so smooth. Like there's almost no.
I approve of what you're putting down.
Too.
So
No.
Rune brought up an interesting point talking about the Velma, and Rune was like, "Why are all these weirdos who get to write TV shows and movies so obsessed about high school and comic books too?"
Oh, and, I totally forgot about this topic.
No,
I'm glad you're here, Larry.
As per usual, Larry's part of the production staff who remembered his notes for how to make an organized show. So what kind of came up to me like that is I was thinking, well, how many friends from high school are still like friends of mine? And people I knew from other schools when I was in high school, I have one or two of them as still friends, but of my friends from my actual high school, zero. Zero is the number.
Yeah.
And Ayrton had one, but that's because this guy's been his friend since kindergarten. How about you, Rune?
None.
Mm-hmm. So, of things that happened to you in your high school experience, what is something that's still a very strong memory for you today? And I'm going to make it even more limited. Not like, about the chick who went crazy and stripped on her clothes, kind of things. No, a thing that actually happened to you in your high school experience.
Okay, so mine's a little different because for high school I was homeschooled.
Oh,
and so we had like a co-op.
I mean, that'll count for this discussion
thing. So, but it was set up much different. So most of my interactions, was pissing off other parents and then them trying to yell at me. and or my friends, and then me out arguing them because my parents, for some reason, thought it would be a good idea to put my dickhead into like speech and debate classes when I was young. And then they would just get progressively more angry and annoyed with me, to the point I was in a theater production. And being somebody who's performed at that point, I'd been performing for 13 years or so. So we were doing our run throughs. I think it was like maybe 2 weeks before we were going to put on the show, and I still had my script next to me on the stage. I was playing the King and Cinderella, and I did something that pissed off the lady who was directing, and she just went off on me on something else, and she's like, and we're supposed to be off script at this point, you still have your script here, and like went entirely off and stuff. She thought I was just fucking around and like hadn't memorized my lines or anything, but that's what you do, is until the night of the performance, whether it's music or play script, you have the material in front of you just as a reference, because you're rehearsing just in case, right? So the next scene was coming up for the run through, and after, like, as she was yelling at me, the next like big scene, I had this whole big thing I had to say and do and whatever. So I just took my script and just like chucked it off the stage, kind of in her general direction, and then went through the entire scene flawlessly. And the look on her face was so wonderful.
Was it abject hatred or shock?
Oh yeah. Abject hatred.
Oh, actually, Ayrton, I channeled my inner Ayrton today.
Okay.
I first of all, I've shut down the Blood Bowl because it was being asked. They made changes to the game for the sequel that I don't like. So I'm here. I'm focused. I'm paying attention now.
Mm-hmm.
But so I've been working with this small press game publisher called the Red Room, and they were running a live play of their wretched exploitation game, which is like being a scumbag in a 1970s cop movie, right?
Okay.
And I talked the one of the guys who writes the game, and like, let me play test the stuff I'm working on in your game. It'll be great. And they were like, okay. So I got to play a vampire in their People Are Not Supernatural game. And I was talking to these normals, one of whom was a character that is really into his chemical interests, right? He's just a dude that's completely blitzed out of his mind. And I had picked a bit of a fight with him because he was talking shit about my character, so I called him a junkie, and I tried to make amends, and we're talking. It's like, oh no, I've seen you at the parties. You haven't seen me because I didn't want you to, but I was busy. And he's like, busy doing what? And I'm like, well, man, you haven't lived until you've snorted cocaine off of a French hooker's ass, right? Because there's nothing quite as good as going full hog in a woman who hates your guts. and he was like, why would you adulterate your coke like that? And he's like, well, you only live once.
Nice.
So let me pass the question over to you, Rune, because Church disappeared.
Yeah.
What's a memorable, like, touchstone kind of memory you have about high school?
Okay, so this is an interesting thing relative to this subject. I have touchstone moments, but they are touchstone moments that inspire anger, not sadness or like humor.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, no, I'm saying this is pertinent. The two most prominent things for me in high school are they're actually it's actually one event. How weird is that? I got shoulder checked in high school in the face
Oh,
Okay. But to explain this, I actually have to go back to middle school for a minute. So in middle school, I was only in one fight. Okay. And this dude, this huge dude that had probably been held back at least once, started shit with me. Right. I'm outside my homeroom. I'm just minding my own fucking business. And he and his cadre of friends, because when you have a giant asshole, he always needs 3 or 4 other assholes to make himself feel big. Right. They start giving me the razzing. And unfortunately, my parents were the kind of people that are like, well, give as good as you get and don't start it, but you fucking finish it, which is a horrible thing to teach a kid, even though it's what we should absolutely teach kids.
Well, I mean, school is prison.
Right.
So you have to act accordingly.
Right. So there's some back and forth. And they try to steal my bag, presumably for like keep away. I reach for it like an idiot. And big asshole slams his hand down on the back of my fucking skull, right? The thing is that he has misunderstood the person that he is dealing with. Because 1, I can only fall down once. And 2, no, he unleashed the beast. Because I don't lay on the ground and I don't stand up and cry. I launch myself at his fucking kneecaps and I hold on for dear life with the intention to climb up him like a tree and rip his nuts off. And I'm getting the shit kicked out of me. I mean, it's bad. He's standing there punching away. My friend Tony sees this, sets his shoulder, goes running down the hall, and fucking tackles the guy, right? What I did not know, and this is why you know this is a true story, because first of all, I'm getting my ass kicked, and secondly, because it's funny, was that he was struggling to hold his pants up because the weight of me trying to climb up him was pulling them down, right? So when he hit the dirt, his pants came down around his fucking ankles, and he still has a deranged spider monkey trying to climb up his leg while I get kicked in the face. Teachers separate us. They take us to the office in different areas. There is the standard research, and his minions fucking rolled on him.
Because he was beating up a crippled kid.
Right. So I got sent home for the weekend and spent 2 days in pain because I got my shit kicked in. He got expelled. Okay. But that was middle school. I didn't know he was in my high school. Right. So there I am walking down the hallway, minding my own fucking business. And he shoulder checks me in the face directly in passing. So I go down, boom, right? And of course, in the way of all the usual bullshit, my backpack fucking explodes. Because if you're going to have a bad day at high school, why not have all the bad things happen, right?
Naturally.
So I'm both pissed off and trying to get my stuff together. I know who did it, but I can't get anyone's attention because all anyone sees is a pissed off dude screaming at the top of his lungs because I just got face checked with a shoulder, right? As a bunch of kids are being let out of library, and the teacher who was present looks at me and is like, Joe, mind your language. I'm like, motherfucker, I just got face checked. And he smiled. He just smiled at me like he was talking to a crazy person. I'm trying to say, yo, person in authority, I have been assaulted in real time. And he doesn't fucking care because it's not his business. Right? And that was when I knew, I who had been a school kid and loved school, right? That, you want to pull church in? That, these people... He just texted. He's like, put me in. That's when I knew these people don't give a shit about me and my academic future, right? The screws are not your friends. Here's the proof.
I mean, to quote Homer Simpson, the children are our future unless we stop them now.
Right. But my point is, though, when people are like, oh, I remember prom. Prom was a wonderful thing. It's like, I didn't go. Fuck prom. I don't give a shit about that. But what about homecoming? I don't give a shit about homecoming. I stayed home. The only thing I ever cared about was fucking Halloween dance, if there was one, because you got to be in costume.
Oh,
right?
Dude, let me tell you about the homecomings I got to go to. Since I was homeschooled, one of my buddies went to one of the like super nice fancy Catholic schools in the area, and there was like a group of us where like a bunch of them like there was like 3 or 4 guys that went to the guys school, and then there were like 2 or 3 girls that hung out with us that went to like the girls Catholic high school, and so we would go to their like homecomings and shit all the time with all these like crazy repressed Catholic school chicks.
Oh yeah,
that was so much fun.
Oh yeah. But let me get to the point, because Larry asked a question.
Yeah,
it was not just an opportunity to tell my dark stories from childhood. I think the thing, when we're asking why do these people have an obsession with their high school years, is so many forces, like fucking Hughes movies and teachers.
Well, let me cut you off before you get into that. I want to hear Larry and Church's stories first.
All right.
Well, I want to hear Church's story, because I think Church's story is going to be more colorful than mine. And I actually had more bits of high school stuff.
And Church has a limited time frame.
What story are we telling here?
Like, what's your touchstone memory? The strong things that are touchstones.
Oh, when I almost got arrested for selling drugs that I wasn't selling.
Is that it?
Huh? I mean, well, so
I mean that's a strong opener, Church.
No, I mean for real. Like, hold on one second.
I mean, for one, it's always the shit you're not actually doing that you get blamed for, isn't it?
Oh yeah, that was one of the best things about the homeschool group co-op thing. Is I was always up to something, but they stopped yelling at me because I was a dickhead and would always get my friend in trouble, and she would get so pissed at me.
Well, because Church has told tales of things Church was up to. It's like there are reasons for him to get in trouble, but apparently he gets in trouble for shit he didn't do. That's hilarious.
Well, see, it was some shit that I did, but I didn't get caught doing it, right?
Okay.
Like, so, all right. So they accused me of having and distributing pills, which I did, but I had already gotten rid of all of them before they caught me, so they had no evidence.
Okay, so in other words, it's not that you got in trouble for something you didn't do; they weren't able to pin it on you.
No. I mean, as far as they knew, I didn't do it.
Very, very briefly, I had a similar thing happen. People thought I was on drugs in high school, but I wasn't, except I was. Because I was seriously depressed from high school, right? And my dad was taking St. John's wort for his bipolar depression. So they were like, here, Joe, take one of these a day. Do not take more, right? You'll be fine. I took one, and basically I didn't fall asleep, but I had an hour in math where it's like I remember walking into math class, I remember sitting down to math class, and I remember being told this is a test in math class, and then I remember the test being over because everyone was leaving and turning in a blank sheet of paper. But I wasn't on drugs.
So my high school stories are both more numerous and somewhat more normal. So teachers blackmailed the principal at the school twice for my benefit because I was in a gifted school and I was having some academic trouble and they needed me for after school activities. So they blackmailed the principal about various things he was doing that were illegal.
Gifted like AP or gifted like short bus?
Both.
Short bus is
both.
fucking awesome, man.
Because gifted schools cover both.
Fair.
And the short bus is awesome. It's like an elite tiny bus just for you cool people. Everyone else is like, I want to sit in the back. It's like, no, man, our bus is all back.
It's all back.
There was a time I went to a speech and debate tournament, and the big swinging dick of the speech and debate competition category we were in decided to give a pro-abortion argument at the Catholic Forensic League, which was the Catholic Church's sponsored speech and debate club in front of the nun who was in charge of it. And I won that particular session with a much less effective speech, but because he did absolutely call out, the Catholic Church for their position on abortion. Everybody who wasn't him did better that day. Let's see. There was Model UN when I went in high school. So we were the Security Council, and we realized none of the fun countries were there. So we called. A couple of people who we knew would be fun. And at the end of that session of Model UN, Israel was taken over by a neo-Nazi party. The Spanish government was overthrown by communists. And, China and India almost had a nuclear war.
Man, my Model UN sucked. Why couldn't I have had a Model UN like yours? That sounds way more fucking interesting.
Did you guys have ROTC where you were?
We do.
Yeah.
We have JRATSs. Let's see.
When
hold up. I still got some material here.
Oh, okay.
But my crowning experience was the time freshman year in high school, my first semester in this school, I was assigned by the teacher to keep an eye on the girl who I later, once I learned what the symptoms were, who was coming down off of heroin in world history class.
Fantastic. Let's see. Middle school, I caught two people fucking under the stairs. That was fun.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
But
Nice.
the reason I ask about ROTC is, did you guys have chess club
Of
where
course.
you were? Okay,
Yeah,
see,
of
we
course.
didn't have a chess club except for in the ROTC branch of our high school. So you had to be in ROTC to be in the chess club. Well, I protested this. I was like, that's bullshit. I want to play chess too. So they let me in on a like trial thing, and I had to go through like this tournament to prove my worthiness, I guess.
They made you.
And when-
They made you do the gauntlet of chess to prove
Yes.
your worth.
Yes, and I beat 4 people, and then I had to play the colonel of the Air Force branch of JROTC that we had. And he eventually got up and let somebody else finish losing for him.
Now, the reason I asked y'all about your authentic experiences are whenever you see these things that are in pop culture that reference high school, keep going back to that high school well, none of those experiences seem authentic, do they?
Well,
No.
There's that, and there's what I was going to say, but we had to round back to get everybody's stuff in. You see all these things, and you're always told the same line. These are the most important years of your life. Now,
Well, case in point, the Breakfast Club. They would have
Right.
shoved the nerdy kid in a locker before they did anything because they know he would be the narc.
Right. But here's the thing. In really, really good media, they qualify that by saying that the reason that there's such important years is that they determine who you're going to be, right? Because you're old enough, theoretically, to
No,
start
they don't.
like making
No, they don't.
decisions. No.
If you're gonna be an asshole, you're an asshole by the end of elementary school.
Sure,
Mhm.
but let me finish what I'm saying. I'm saying that in the better films, they at least try to give a reason why these years are important, right? Because the supposition is that in high school you're at least coherent enough to start deciding your own life path, which we know is not true, but they want you to think that.
The late '80s to the mid '90s did this a lot better, I think.
It did.
With shit like The Sandlot and whatever that movie with Christina Ricci and fucking
16
Rosie
Candles.
O'Donnell.
Oh, no, you're thinking of like a League of Their Own?
No, it was about it was basically a girl version of The Sandlot.
But the thing is
Less baseball,
that-
more gay stuff.
the thing is that in the less qualitative ones, they just leave it at these are the most important years of your life, and I think people buy into that, right? Like they think that you're going to do things in high school that will echo through eternity, right? So if you buy into that, you're like, oh, I remember my prom. Oh, I remember homecoming. Those are my highest moments, right?
Junior and senior prank were pretty cool.
Well, I got through the argument that I didn't go to those things, so I didn't give a shit.
Oh no, junior and
I
senior prank, not prom.
oh, I mean, sure, yeah. But what I'm getting at though is that if you're a person who's like life goes on and you realize that you have, let's say you get out of high school, you're 18, you now got uh, you got like at least 50 more years to figure shit out or fuck shit up,
Or
possibly more, yeah, or both, right? No, high school is not the most important part of your life. You might never have that level of free time again, but it's not important. But if you're somebody that buys into that shit, it's like, okay, I did prom, I did homecoming, I'm so important. Now what? And then they don't know, right? So that they do what their parents said. Got to get a job, got to get employment, got to get the money. And it's like, okay, I have a home and I have employment and I have money. Now what? And that's when you like start getting into the fucking Tyler Durden Fight Club shit.
I was getting ready to say, okay, Tyler.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is that you get people that start thinking that like their home, their life is their IKEA home set, right?
I think it might be actually just because my perspective on those years is vastly different from the majority of people in this country. It's almost like you're told all these things that you said, Rune, but you're also kind of forced to just be kind of a mindless drone at the same time, because it is essentially a prison indoctrination system set up by the government.
It is.
Well, I mean, it's not even basically. It's using the same architecture.
Well, yeah,
it's the same. It's the same exact picture.
Well, okay, you're right, but that's besides the point. So you're told all these things, but then you're kind of beaten down, into this kind of just drone mentality. So then when you get out, you haven't actually you never took the time to actually develop a personality. Right? So they think back on it as the simpler time, which technically, yes, it is, but they look back on it fondly because they have no agency as a person, and they just want to go back to people telling them what to do, and they can just be that drone hive mind again and not actually have to think for themselves or actually do anything or be a person. Because actually doing something and being a person and like pulling yourself up is hard work. It can be very nerve-wracking, very uncomfortable. And looking back on those years, you're like, oh, that was super comfortable. I just had to do X, Y, and Z, and it was good.
Well, the reason I'm describing it as essentially reliving what they think is the good part of their life, like a rewind, is because the other option is the one that everyone goes to, which is, oh, they're projecting. They were losers, so now they're doing the prom they wish they had, right? Which might indeed be true for some, but I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is that what we have is a bunch of self-satisfied smug fuckers, well-to-do preppies who were very successful in the high school sphere, right? And thought that people gave a shit. And now they're confused because they're out of high school and no one gives a shit because no one ever gave a shit.
Well,
I'll
I'll actually counter that. I'll say that there's a large enough group of people with that same mindset that there's a large enough group to keep things like that alive, which is why there are still high school reunions, however many decades after they started. So, because most of us don't give a shit about it,
right?
Doesn't mean other people don't, and I don't think it's all for nefarious narcissistic purposes. I just think that they just don't have the same life priorities that most people do.
Well, what I mean is, like, in the business world, for the purposes of getting jobs and interconnectedness, your collegiate alma mater carries a lot more weight. It
Not
matters more if you got
necessarily.
that. I'm saying it matters more if you got that college ring than if you've got that high school jacket.
It depends. I mean, in smaller towns, in suburbs of bigger cities where you have like more tight knit connections, not everybody
I,
goes to college.
I mean, that
I
might be
mean, also,
so.
Church could have threw four passes in one game in football.
I mean, this is
That's
true.
right.
But
Right. Back in Polk County, man, we did some things.
right, but the thing is, I think I'm not saying you're wrong. Obviously, there's a lot of room to discuss, but I think that you put in a qualifier that undoes your point, which is you said in a small town, most of the people we're dealing with either were from a small town and left and are now in a big city, or they're big city college folk, but they're big city college folk entering the business world for creative endeavors where they don't fit, right? Because we're talking about the New York and the LA comic set who are fucking up comics with their behaviors and filtering out into all other forms of creative media. Those are cityified perspectives, not small town perspectives.
Well, I didn't know we were putting it in the context of comic creators either.
Well, I mean, it is the
we
gospel of
were
comics.
talking about
Media in
Velma.
general.
Yeah. It starts with Velma, but I think it spirals out into other things.
Well, the thing is with Thelma, I mean, your majority of your audience isn't city folk. City folk are out doing shit. They're not at home watching TV. So you immediately like just denigrate a large portion of your audience when you insult that small town demographic.
Well, I don't think small town folks are watching Velma either. I don't think that
They're not.
I don't think it is a comedy that appeals to that demo.
And that's the problem. Like Parks and Rec did, because you had Ron Swanson, who was like this libertarian back road country bumpkin, who had moonshine offs and fucking bacon hidden in places.
And don't forget his license to do things. I do what I want.
Yeah, well, he's the director of the Parks Department, so
Look,
parks are his domain.
hey, look, Scruffy is on break.
But I mean, shows like Parks and Rec, where you had a lot of liberal views and mindsets, appealed to that small town demographic because you could identify in somebody like Ron Swanson or Pawnee being a small town trying to get its roots, and JJ's Diner, where the greatest waffles ever made were.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is that it also seems to be specifically, because not actually homecoming as often, it seems to specifically be prom. Because while I'm aware that the word prom is derived from promenade and its roots, most people don't. And you don't hear in popular media about like a debutante ball anymore. Even though debutantes exist.
Well, no,
They'll
you
be
don't.
after
Because
all
yeah,
of these
because
things have
debutante
been in
balls
Magic
are
the Gathering in the last decade. Of course, I know about them.
also debutante balls are now racist.
No, I know, but
let me
just
finish
saying.
my previous point.
I just want to say what I was trying to get at, Larry, is that it's not all social gatherings are being aggrandized. It's this one specific social gathering that seems to get being reused by these individuals. But carry on, Church.
Well, again, I disagree. I think that what we're failing to take into account here, and which is why I finished my point. I was about halfway
Ayrton,
through.
are you fucking flying a plane?
I was just about to say, did somebody just hop on a two-stroke dirt bike?
What the fuck?
What? Did my headphones catch something?
Oh, they must have. Yeah, it sounded like a two-stroke dirt bike. It was like
I thought it sounded like someone.
It might have been my screen door creaking.
Okay, that makes it. That makes sense.
Right. I'm sorry. To me, it literally sounded like somebody just pulled the prop on an old school plane and was going to take off, and I'm like, what the fuck? I'm sorry for interrupting, Church. Please continue.
So I brought up Parks and Rec so that I could bring up his contemporary, The Office. Okay, and I bring up The Office because again, it had that same appeal to people, even in small towns, because where the office happened. I forget the name of the town. Scranton, Ohio. It was supposed to be a small town in Ohio where you had the small branch of a small paper company.
Mhm.
And Mindy Kaling was a part of this show. She also was responsible for writing several episodes, if I'm not mistaken. So it seems to me that she failed to recognize what made shows like that, relatable and endearing and promising and profitable, and just threw all of it out the window to do another self-insert project where you said, fans be damned.
Well, she got
I'm
paid.
going to.
Why would she need to worry about the show being profitable?
What now? She got paid?
She got paid. Why would she need to worry about the show being profitable?
I don't know, maybe reputation?
Her reputation is terrible. So why would she need to worry about the show being profitable?
I really hate to say this, but that is in fact a thing that my friend Josh has said before when I've had similar conversations. The one thing that you'd think people would give a shit about that they don't is pride in their work and the reputation that their work leaves.
But
apparently people don't give a shit about that, and that's awful.
This person has produced passable work in prior years.
When there were other people who were doing all the hard work parts of it. When she's been responsible for the bulk of the work, it's not been passive.
Well, let's put out a qualifier there, because I think this is also an important element to these things, and they've said it more than once on different products. Not this person specifically, but other people as well. Respecting the material you're working with, because if we're talking about the Velma woman, she doesn't respect Scooby-Doo. In the build-up, of course, she's a fan, but afterward, it's like, oh, I don't give a shit about Scooby-Doo. Now, mind you, I don't give a shit about Scooby-Doo, but I also am not taking money to work on it. If you gave me money to work on a Scooby-Doo project, I'd watch a whole bunch of fucking Scooby-Doo. I'd read a bunch of Scooby-Doo books. I'd immerse myself in the material. So you have this thing where you have people who are taking jobs for products they don't care about, products they don't use, products they are not trained in. But if it was a personal project, something they cared about and wanted to do, that they would totally give their full to, and they would actually give a shit about.
Well, here, I think that opens the door to a bigger conversation that can be had at a later time.
Okay.
It's actually brought up on this a recent episode of Pitch Meeting about Velma. And it basically said you can't create anything these days without wrapping it in the pre-existing IP. So, I mean, would we even be talking about this if it was the Mindy Kaling show?
Okay.
I mean, us possibly. Broader society as a whole, no.
See, I'm not saying you're wrong. I think that is absolutely the mentality at play, right? But I also think it's an error. I think you can make new properties, but the reluctance to risk is such that no one wants to make new properties. And we've seen this kind of condensation before. It's happened cyclically. There's going to be another Hollywood crash. It's gonna be big, and then there's going to be a explosion of indie and alternative creative content, which we hope will be good, which is going to recur into a new studio system again. Because somebody's got to take a risk somewhere, and that person's going to make a mountain of money. Remember, Spider-Man, Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, was a risk at one time. And then Iron Man was a risk.
Sorry to interrupt. Philadelphia is currently number 9 trending on Twitter right now. I'm going to scroll through this and see what I find.
Is it on fire?
Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna find out.
The city of brotherly love on fire.
Well,
Dude,
they're gonna riot all the way towards Kansas City and set it on fire too. They're
Oh,
just gonna
there's a
carry the
video.
riot with them.
Let's see. 10 minutes ago, there's a video of a car just got flipped over and people on top of it yelling and shit.
Yep.
Actually, Philadelphia reminds me, as an example, new IPs wrapped in old IPs. I like the Creed films, okay, but I don't actually think. I mean, the first one maybe, but I don't actually think the subsequent one is really a Rocky film. I think they are Jordan B. boxing movies.
Yeah, the second one's a transition away.
Right.
You know where I think they failed with the Creed movies? You know where I think they failed miserably? Instead of reviving the Rocky IP, I think we would be just as good setting up a fictional universe for Money Mayweather and just name the series of boxing movies Money.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons that's funny.
But the problem is if you do that, then people think it's a movie about John Money.
No, Money Mayweather, and people would know.
But what I'm getting at though is that the Creed movies are not bad.
No,
right? I think if they were,
but they're not Rocky sequels.
Well, they kind of are. That's the thing. If they were more solidly standalone, I'd be more into it. The fact that they are inexorably linked after the first one to Rocky's material as a motive force is the weakness, because they're basically dragging Rocky Balboa's corpse along with them. And the sad fact is that Rocky Balboa's story ended after the movie Rocky Balboa. It ended solidly. It ended well. It did not need to be revisited.
No, you're missing the point. You just opened up the next biggest launch in the franchise.
Okay.
Weekend at Rockies, where Adrian's kid and the new Creed fighter carry Rocky's corpse around with a boombox.
Right, because a voodoo.
Sorry, real quick, another update from Philadelphia. There was a crowd chanting "F the Chiefs."
Yes, good.
And they deployed a bunch of smoke bombs to disperse the crowd.
Hey, can we mention the positives here?
Hey, they greased all the poles in Philadelphia.
Now, remember, again, Philadelphia is the city of brotherly love. And in these racially charged times, you've got whites and people of color coming together to express their displeasure about the results of the Super Bowl.
But don't forget, Philadelphia is the only city where the government blew up black people.
As a fellow white, I'd like to point out that I no longer think it's appropriate to be referred to as a white. I'd prefer to be referred to as a person without color.
Well, I mean, look, you're 90% water. I think we should all be referred to as Ziploc bags.
So, do we want to take this all home and talk about how the head of D&D said he wants white people to go away from D&D?
Excuse me, Larry. I think we just went over this. People without color, please.
Yeah. Look, people of fluid. Okay, POFs. We all have water inside.
So, executive producer.
We're giving out rectangles in all sizes today. You come get one yourself.
So, executive producer of D&D, Kyle Brink, said, "This is not the face of the hobby anymore." And I think there's been a mistake made in the years past where people assumed that D&D players were, white dudes in basements. That was never a thing. That's a thing that people who weren't part of the hobby said. That was not something Wizards or TSR ever said. In fact, they frequently highlighted non-white people who were playing. But I mean, why be
real quick, Larry? As
Yeah.
one of those people without color that was playing this game in a basement many years ago,
Mm-hmm.
I can confirm that it was crackers with no friends playing D&D in basements for
the
many,
Oh, no,
question
many
is,
they've always had black and Hispanic
well,
people playing
well,
D&D.
yeah. The question is, Church, is in your Cracker Barrel, did you have some chocolate or did you have some peanut butter?
Yeah,
It
but
was
you see
peanut
that.
butter.
There
See,
you go.
here's the thing about that church. The reason it was mostly white people is it tended to be played in communities that were mostly white, and thus the white kids didn't have many non-white friends.
Well, not
So
only that, but oh shit, we're not past 2 hours yet, so it'd be really terrible of me saying that the necessity to read was really a barrier to the game.
well, I mean, I opened with the
I mean,
hold up, church. I opened with the Nothing Forever bit, talking about making jokes about trans people. That's what we opened with.
Oh, okay, all right.
also, you are in fact not wrong. It's just not it's not the racist joke you think it is.
But anyway,
Uh,
the rest of the statement was, which has been a faulty assumption for a lot of years and gets more and more false every day. And so, in my viewpoint, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
so,
And I say people who are trying to ruin D&D, yes, I agree. People like you leaving the hobby can't happen soon enough.
oh yeah. No.
Well-
The funny part of this is that the immediate response of everyone on the OSR was to gangbang this the tweet and go, "Okay, Kyle, you leave. We'll be right behind you."
Yeah,
But the thing is, before I get to the meat of the matter here, I want to address Trick Church's not quite misstep. There have been a few commentators who have talked about how no, there are people of color in D&D and they like it here, but there are also people who have talked about why people of color don't play D&D. And there are two schools. The first, in line with more of what Larry was saying, which is the lack of access, because you have to be in a area that is conducive to spending that kind of money. Right?
yeah.
Not just that. You needed to have friends who played D&D, because D&D is a
Right.
game that, until recently, was made to be played with friends.
But the other facet is literally people from the hood saying, "Look, man, in my community, they were hard on nerds. Even if you were the kid who liked to read, if you had a nerd game and clickety clackety math rocks, you were not necessarily taking your life in your hands, but you were inviting scorn and derision from people who didn't get it, and we didn't have time for that kind of BS."
Well,
And that's true.
the wire has taught
but-
us that it's not a sense of not being able to learn or not being able to apply mathematics.
Right.
Because I mean, even in underprivileged areas and ghettos, so to speak, you have situations where the most popular game on the street corner is what? Craps.
Yeah.
Having to know probability and throwing dice. So
Right. No, but that's the thing, is that what is not said in this comparison that goes on, because it's always about, well, people of color communities don't D&D for X. You get that in non-colored communities as well. The people of Paste also get folks. It's like, oh, you're playing nerd game? You must be such a fag.
yeah.
And it's like, look, man, I don't need your F slur, and I don't need your problems.
Well, there was always.
I can't wait. Hold on. I can't believe we got Rune to say the F slur.
I wasn't invoking it with will, and it was a mistake.
Well, we all also had that one closet rich friend who was like this really preppy guy that wanted to play
Right.
D&D, but we couldn't tell anybody that he played.
Right, and then you always have those couple of jocks that it's like, I don't like nerd games. I'm just down here to drink beer and play D&D.
Yeah, I don't like nerd games, but I
but-
happen to fit the character of a barbarian very, very
Right.
well.
But I have turned on my camera, in fact, to share my T-shirt. We want to blow me up here for a minute.
Oh yeah, I'll put you.
You may have
That-
seen this
that-
one, but if you haven't, not.
Let's see, solo layout.
Yeah,
All right,
you
take
gotta-
down
you
racism
gotta
time.
remember
Yep. Okay.
Oh yeah,
Nice.
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 it.
Nice.
Oh,
Holy
I,
shit! What is that fucking epileptic seizure happening next to you?
That's my
Is that your
his
computer.
computer.
Oh geez.
Yeah, my boss got me a computer with a freaking rainbow light. I do not know why. My computer is more LGBT than me.
Oh, speaking of LGBT, Rune, I started repackaging Magic cards again last night to send you. I remembered that
Oh,
project,
sweet.
but
I mean, since Magic the Gathering is going to tank now.
why is it going to tank?
Well, we're talking about that subject actually, even though for whatever reason we're looking at racist Harry Potter images.
Well, yeah. Did you
WotC
read it?
in I did, but WotC in general is burning its cred. And
Magic the
Hasbro.
Gathering isn't going to tank. Don't worry about that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Hasbro is not helping. This is all Hasbro's mismanagement, and they're letting WotC take the flak. Because the real thing, getting back to subject, about this Kyle Brink thing, is what he said is stupid, but is actually inconsequential. It really is.
Uh,
The reason.
As a member of the cardboard crack community, I've just got to disagree with the sentiment, just for the simple fact that
Sure.
I think that the Magic the Gathering community, while we hate Wizards of the Coast and all of their scheming, just in buying booster packs at the lowest entry level possible, we will keep the game alive just because we all play Commander now.
I mean, maybe. But the thing about Kyle Brink is the only reason that this has any weight to it is he said this stupid literally less than a week after the OGL kerfuffle mutated to its current form, and just before the D&D movie comes out. So it's like it's literally proof you learned nothing from the giant embarrassment of having your OGL blow up in your face.
The
They
only
played
reason
the
I'm
trailer
planning-
for that. Go ahead.
Yeah, they play the trailer for the movie and in the Super Bowl commercials, and I'm like going, "Wow, I really don't watch this."
Well, everyone's saying the same thing, which is itself stupid, but it's not wrong, which is that it is a MCU style trailer. It's trying to make D&D look like the Avengers, but that's not even the problem. That's just a symptom of the problem.
Well, the problem is they have so much bad cred that people are going to tank this movie just because.
I mean, they're also going to go fucking see it to hate watch it like idiots.
No, I think they'll pirate it.
But the thing is that in addition to utterly failing to look like a medieval fantasy, because if you look at still images, there's a lot of Edwardian bullshit going on. It's very much a Rings of Power scenario again, right? The thing that bothers me is not that it's a quote Avengers style MCU everybody equipped thing. It's busy. All of the combat and action scenes are busy and indistinct and look like shit. Cinematography is an important facet of filmmaking that people keep ignoring. Because I've been watching a fair amount of like martial arts action films, Jackie Chan and Bruce Lee recently, and a bunch of shitty old school canon films. Because who doesn't love Death Wish, right? And it's like, whether these movies are good quality or bad quality, they at least were good at their filmmaking fundamentals, right? And here we are yet again with using CGI and camera tricks to lazily craft scenes that look like shit and inspire no interest.
Well, again, it goes back to my recent point of you can't make anything new without wrapping it in an existing IP. You can't, like Jumanji. Jumanji was the original Dungeons and Dragons the movie.
I believe the Dungeons and Dragons movie came out first, but I know what you mean.
Yeah. Shut up.
I mean, here's the problem with making a Dungeons and Dragons movie. There isn't really a Dungeons and Dragons story.
Well, no, that's the thing. WotC is lying to you because they want you to believe there is.
Right.
WotC
You could make a Baldur's Gate movie.
Well, no. Here's the thing. WotC has actively said, because they're a lying bunch of sacks of shit, that there is a basement. There is a darkened room with a single lamp somewhere, right? With a corkboard covered in red threads that goes all the way back to 1974 that they have in their possession, which makes all of D&D make sense because it's a multiverse, guys. Fuck you. It's not a multiverse. It never was. The
They
planes
tried
of
to do
power
that
are
in-
interdimensional.
They tried to do that by using Magic the Gathering to weave together the storylines using planeswalkers.
Which they still fucked up.
Yes.
Because
Well,
the
they're going back to that well.
Well, because the guidebook to Ravnica is garbage. But the point is that they want you to believe that D&D is Forgotten Realms. So a
But
D&D
the novel,
movie...
Rune, agree with me with this, though. The novels pre-Alara were fantastic.
I mean, I'd love to read them. I've heard they're great. When I say they fucked up, I'm talking about the D&D tome, Planeswalker's Guide to Ravnica.
Oh, yeah.
And Legendary Tales of Theros, where they had an opportunity to really sell us on Magic the Gathering as a D&D setting, and then didn't. But no, they want you to think that Forgotten Realms is the standard D&D setting.
Let's
and
be
that-
honest here. How much fun is it going to be to run a D&D game with 5 planeswalkers?
I mean, it could be quite fun if it was done right.
I mean, they could be incredibly fun.
The thing is, what I keep trying to say and we keep talking over is they want you to think that Forgotten Realms is the solid underlined single D&D setting, and all other settings are secondary. And this is not true. Dark Sun is its own thing. Al-Qadim is its own thing. Ravenloft is its own thing. They are all independent, separate settings, which means you don't make a D&D movie. You make a Forgotten Realms movie.
But I mean, I wouldn't open with the Forgotten Realms movie. I would open with the Dragonlance movie.
See, here's the thing. I don't like Dragonlance, but I will absolutely agree that a Dragonlance-centric film called War of the Lance would work, because that has a beginning, middle, and end and is structured like a film.
And it has characters.
It does.
That carry throughout the whole saga.
Now, that being said, because it's worth mentioning, they did a Dragonlance film. It's animated. It has Kiefer Sutherland. It's fucking awful.
That was before, though, Wizards had the ability to kind of say, hey, listen, we're a big deal around here.
Right.
So it's a movie I would like. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
No. Okay.
No, it's here's the thing. It's actually extra funny. They have Kiefer Sutherland as 2 different characters.
Breaking news, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Ubisoft, the company behind Assassin's Creed and the Rainbow Six franchises, has not only partnered with the Anti-Defamation League to fight hate in gaming, but is now working with the British police to jail gamers for their in-game speech.
Tell me this is from the Babylon
terrible
Bee.
anyway.
Tell me
No.
this is from
Brit fags.
Yeah, but they're not Brit fags. Ubisoft is French.
No, that's Ubisoft. That's what they do.
Yeah, no, my question is this from the Babylon Bee or is this a real source?
This is from Blacklisted News.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I mean, I knew there were reasons I wasn't buying Ubisoft products. Now I have another reason.
The
thing is that it's yet again it's a mercenary action because they actually don't give a shit about any of these things that they are partnering with. It's trying to deflect attention away.
No, they do give a shit because of their they're woke. They have a woke rating, Rune.
No. Ubisoft is trying to deflect attention away from its recent sex scandals.
Right, but Larry, back me up here. All of these companies have a woke rating they have to adhere to.
They do
to stay in the good graces.
They're all part of that ESG train. Now, the good thing about the ESG train is they don't check whether you got people sexually harassing your employees. That's okay.
Right,
that's fine.
Right. It's only about making sure people don't say the N-word in your chat.
Exactly.
You mean nougat?
Yes, you can't say that on the internet anymore.
Yeah, you can't talk about chocolate anymore on the internet because nougat is offensive.
Yeah, ginger is a very offensive word.
It is.
Yeah.
I've heard there's a ginger genocide. We apparently hate spices.
And
If you shave the outside skin off and shove it up your ass, it burns really bad.
and also let's not forget.
wait,
let's
hold
not
on,
forget
hold
the-
on. So, do you guys know where the word like gingerly comes from? Like to walk gingerly?
I
No.
do not. If
So-
this is going somewhere,
I'm glad I sparked this memory in you, Ayrton.
So apparently, for show horses, what they used to do was take a bit of ginger root and shave the skin off and put it in the horse's ass to make it kind of like perk up and like walk a little bit softer, so it's walking gingerly because it has a ginger root shoved up its ass.
I mean, it's been TV lore for years that Mr. Ed was manipulated by having a carrot shoved up in his ass to make him make that mouth shape.
I thought they put I thought they put peanut butter in in his gums or something.
That's the other theory that I actually believe. But some people have said no, they were molesting that horse.
You know how many people would have lost their hands trying to put peanut butter in a horse's gums, Ayrton?
I mean, not that horses are fairly docile.
It depends.
Oh yeah,
on the
until
horse.
you start fucking around in their mouth.
No. It absolutely depends on the horse. My dad got pranked by a fucking horse.
My grandmother raised horses. No matter how much they love you, they will bite the fuck out of you.
When I was a kid, I had an opportunity for a very short period. It's sad because the program didn't last. To actually get to ride horses. They found out that horses are therapeutic and can help little cripple kids get better control of their disabilities by riding horses, right? So I was riding horses. How fucking awesome is that? And one day we're in the barn putting the horses away, and another horse is standing in his little stall, and my dad is standing next to the stall observing, and the horse took a snap at him with his teeth, right? And we all pulled back like, oh shit. And then the horse just grinned because he's like, I made you fuckers jump. Because he knew what he was doing. He wasn't trying to bite my dad at all. He was just fucking with us.
And let's not forget Washington State also had the horse brothel. And what happened to the people who went to the horse brothel?
Oh, Mr. Hands.
Are you talking about the dude that got fucked to death?
Yes.
There's that guy, and then there's also the one who got kicked in the nuts by the horse because he was trying to put his nuts into the horse.
I mean, that's just a Darwin award.
He put nuts in butts. We got nuts and butts out here.
The original Baldo.
Whereafter a moral panic was started about bestiality, and it officially became illegal in Washington State, as if it shouldn't have been illegal to begin with.
Moral panic started about bestiality. Name my sex tape.
So does that mean that nuts and butts is a track on your sex tape?
No, on my mixtape.
That's the theme song.
You see, nuts and butts is a particular kind of rap song.
I mean, isn't that also where you do that cover of Sir Mix-a-Lot? I like horse butts and I cannot lie.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I'm feeling like the energy for the show right now is we need to coast it in because I'm not sure there's gonna be anything positive going any longer with the way we're all at right now.
I don't know if we keep going, we might get Rune to say another slur, which that would be great.
Look, this is that anime meme, Larry. We've gone too far, but let's keep going and see what happens. I mean, we're not even in racism time right now. Yet the banner is.
No, we actually were because we were talking about gingers.
Yeah, but then we moved on to bestiality, which used to be racism and just disturbing.
Well, I was gonna say,
hold on. I have a banner for that.
There we go. Oh, Jesus fucking Christ! Why do I still do this?
Because it's entertaining to you.
Should we talk about how Mexico has now been essentially
Put on the no
labeled-
travel list.
Yeah, labeled a no travel country, and violence against women has gone up 20% in the past.
Well, I
month.
mean, that's because Ethan Ralph went there.
Right.
That's Ralpha male energy taking hold.
But what's
Ain't no
funny
country
is
gonna cut with no female.
what's funny is the embassy is like 30 minutes drive from where Ralph's concrete shack is.
Well,
Look,
of course, because he's gonna have to go cry to daddy government when he gets in trouble again.
Hey,
Look.
Ayrton, is your RV up and running yet?
Kind of.
I figured we could all go on a road trip down to Mexico with some corn.
I got to get my passport first. But
No, Rune, we'll just smuggle you in. We'll just put you in a
Yeah.
trash bag
But-
while we're going through.
But no, the obvious answer is that if you want to get Ethan Ralph out of Mexico, you get together some De Niro because
Why do we want him out of Mexico?
Well, I'm just saying American dollars go farther, and then you figure out which cartel has the highest likelihood to actually extract Ethan Ralph and deliver him back to the United States with the understanding he's not welcome anymore south of the border.
No. You don't understand. He's coming back on the 16th first anyway, and the A-logs are going to A-log him at court.
Oh, sweet. I mean, I still kind of like the idea of like a dozen Mexican guys and Danny Trejo grabbing Ethan Ralph and being like, "Get the fuck out of Mexico, SN." But you know, okay.
I still can't believe the Eagles fucking turned over a punt return to the 5-yard line.
I mean, you've been an Eagles fan for how long, Church, and you can't believe that?
Larry, it was different. It was different this year, Larry. The Eagles were the favorite, Larry. We had this in the bag, Larry.
I mean, the last time the Eagles were in this situation, you know, they defied expectations. They won the Super Bowl. That was where I was at. I was like, going, you know, that's probably gonna happen this year.
Well, that's the thing.
I apparently
This
was
is-
mistaken.
Well, remember, Larry. This is the 2020s. This is the era where we subvert your expectations. So if you expected the Eagles to do well, they subverted your expectations by being shit. They Rian Johnsoned you.
Wasn't it a close game though?
It
Yeah,
was
very close.
Just like Rian Johnson subverted my expectations by apparently having a career after fucking Star Wars. I can't stand that man's making movies and has bounced back faster than M. Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan was at least not a bankable talent for 10 years after fucking up Avatar.
Wait, what's Ryan Johnson making?
Well, he's made Knives Out and he made Glass Onion, and I'm pretty sure he's making a third movie now.
I haven't heard of either of those.
We talked about those.
We
last
did a
week,
review about it.
Tony.
not last week, but we talked about it on the show.
Yeah.
Did we talk
And
about
I-
Glass Onion?
Yes,
We did.
Yeah.
Did
we
I make a Beatles reference to that?
I made the Beatles reference.
Oh, okay,
and
you
we
made the
talked about
Beatles
how that was a
reference.
shit Beatles song.
Yeah, it really is. What was the other? Knives Out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Knives Out is about a bunch of rich white people who are terrible, and one of them, played by Chris Evans, killed his grandfather, but they're all trying to blame the illegal alien nurse.
Right. Glass
probably
Onion is
really
about a
did
bunch of Glass Onion is about a bunch of rich white people who are all awful. And
Hold on, but Glass Onion has two rich black people who are also awful.
right, but Ed Norton, who's a white man, murdered a
Oh,
black
Larry,
woman, so another black
Larry,
woman
no,
had
no.
to get revenge.
No, Larry, you don't understand. Those two black people were actually procured in the racial draft.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We gave up Machine Gun Kelly before they gave him back after Eminem just like broke his soul.
Well, Liam Neeson is right now trying to get Conor McGregor kicked off of Team Ireland.
What?
That'll be a hard sell though. Like
Liam Neeson said that Conor McGregor's an embarrassment to Ireland.
No, he's not.
no, he's an accurate representation.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, no, I think the most accurate representation of Ireland is Seamus Finnegan from Hogwarts.
I think he's shaming from the WWE, but agree to disagree.
Hold on. Back to racism time.
Well, I mean, in matter of point, because it's funny, we haven't actually discussed the Hogwarts in the room.
Oh,
Why would we do
Hogwarts
that,
Legacy.
Yeah.
The
wizard
turf
game. The wizard game.
Well, because here's
No,
the
the turf game.
Well, because here's the extra fun about the wizard game. My friend Ty, who is very black, acquired wizard game and has been playing wizard game. And because Ty likes to hang out with me, has been streaming wizard game at me. So I've been watching someone else play wizard game, and I can report on the content of wizard game.
So let me ask you this:
Okay.
did your friend make the David Duke character in Wizard Game?
No, she is in fact playing the character she always plays, which is a white-haired black woman.
Named David Duke?
No.
Oh,
Because there's an option for you to create a racial slur in the game.
Oh, we've upgraded from racism time to transphobia time. Great.
Well, no. There's creatures that appear in the game. If you're on the Slytherin mission, you can make a racial slur for the creatures.
No, that's actually funny. My Ty.
Is this? Should we change the name of this episode to Rune Goes Based?
No, let me finish. You're gonna love this. My friend Ty started the game, started Slytherin, went, holy shit, these guys are awful. I can't play these, and restarted as a Ravenclaw.
There's also a scene from the Slytherin mission where it says press whatever to spit on an inferior being. Where you get to spit on your house elf.
Because the secret is that if you actually look at it, the comedians are correct. House Slytherin was always evil, and the world building doesn't make sense because your obvious answer is, hey guys, where's all this evil coming from? Where are all these Death Eaters from? Who's gonna help Voldemort come back? Maybe fucking Slytherin, you dumb cunts! The guys that you know are evil!
Hold up, Rune. What do you mean, who's they?
Wait,
we're talking about the banking goblins.
So wait, hold on. So I added Rune Goes Base to the title, and we immediately got another viewer and a comment in the chat, and it's Chris Piper.
It's Cross Comics, yeah. Who I've been hanging out with Dillard. We've been goobing.
Oh, but, what's up, man? How you doing?
But no, here's the thing. In terms of just world building, okay? Ty was really upset. She's like, "Oh man, I can't Slytherin. These guys are awful." And I, we talked about the houses, and I mentioned that Ravenclaw was the secret police, and she's like, "What?" Right?
Yeah.
And I explained that it's like, okay, so you've got Gryffindor, they're just sort of your generic wizard, and you've got Hufflepuff, which is just sort of mediocrity.
They're your support team.
Yeah, and then you've got the Order of the Phoenix, which is your OC bullshit, do not steal. And Slytherin is made up of necromancers and villains, right? And it's like
potion masters, the guys that use the coward's weapons,
right? The poisoners, and then you have Ravenclaw, and it's like, what does Ravenclaw do? It's like they're the secret police and the military arm of the Ministry of Magic that nobody fucking knows about.
Now, which house would be the IRA wizard?
Well, no, see, that's part of the problem. That's part of the problem with
no.
Potter's,
it's Hufflepuff.
It probably is, but that's part of the problem with Harry Potter's world building. Is I recently saw a map, and I got into a conversation about it, and we are to assume that the school system is all wizards globally, right?
Because that's what it is.
But it is so European and nonsensical to the areas it's in, and totally ignores broad swaths of any local magical traditions. Mm-hmm. It is a English
holy shit
middle class dipshits interpretation.
Can you imagine Quidditch in the Ireland district of Magic, where they rig the quaffles to blow up and shit?
No, man, it's called Irish football, and everybody comes out with broken fucking legs and bloody kneecaps.
Yeah, but they would rig it with explosives because Ireland.
Or they could do Hurley, but with the Quidditch little thing.
Oh, it's extra bad because as Ty was playing it and I'm watching it, I'm like, we would do horrible in this school. And Ty's like, why? And I'm like, because everyone is fucking smug. Everyone is a fucking piece of shit.
No, it's fine because as you play further into Hogwarts Legacy, you'll learn that you can torture other students.
That's the thing, though, is if I went to this school, I would be in trouble because I would punch someone out.
No, you would torture them half to death.
Why would you punch them out? You have magic, Rune.
Yeah, you can death
What's
curse
wrong
them.
with you?
No, that's part of the thing. That's part of the thing. If you watch this game and you listen to what people say, right? They're all like, well, I'll whip out my wand and I'll make gestures and magic. And it's like, yeah, you know what? I have the ultimate magic. It's called Fist. It's faster, and you're not expecting it.
Hey,
You know,
all I
no,
want
being
to say,
turned-
all I
Being
want to
turned
say
into
is
a
your
frog sounds worse.
all I want to say is your honor. That device you were referring to was meticulously thought out and built with only the best materials I could find. So calling it "quote unquote" an improvised explosive is frankly an insult.
Right. Well, no. If there's
Also,
a,
I'd like to point out you don't have jurisdiction over me, as this is a people's court, not a nautical court.
well,
You
well, I
cannot
also
find me a jury of my peers, as there are not 12 people like me, Your Honor.
but no. Getting back to point and away from casting gun at idiots. No, the thing is really
I cast 45 ACP.
right. The thing is, though, is
17
that,
times.
the thing is that if you really get into it, even though J.K. herself had very little to do with Hogwarts Legacy, to its betterment, because it actually does have some better world building, what you find is that Harry Potter is ultimately an extremely ignorant, Middle English, like what, Londoner? Is she from London? Perspective on the rest of the world. It's the same thing that we accuse Americans of doing, where we treat all other countries like America and don't understand our neighbors. Right? It's exactly the same.
Again,
It is
that's-
so
that's
retarded.
That's again a problem of our media, and comic books are no exception, in that all media, with few exceptions, showcase an America in New York City, Chicago, or LA.
Right.
Occasionally Vegas, but you get my drift.
Well, you get it in tabletop games as well. We did World of Darkness, and I wasn't very particular about what city we were in, because in most games,
You actually sound like the kind of dungeon master that would do it to your people. Have you ever had your crew slog through a couple of weeks of campaigning without ever hitting a major city that had every provision they might need?
yes,
Like they were always kind of lacking on, well, you can get healing items here, but you're not going to find anything to restore magicka.
Well, hello, is that oh no, that's Larry. As Larry
That's
just
me.
changing
I
his
switched my
face
avatar.
to Goth Oscar,
Yeah.
Gothska.
Yeah.
But no, the thing is actually
By the way, just real quick, Rune, if we ever
Yeah.
get this actual D&D game going, I'm going to be a necro hamster and I'm going to say I want to cast 45 ACP.
there are better games to do that in, sir, which we can talk about. Because I will not say no. I will go with Necro Hamster.
Yeah, and I mean, 45 ACP could just be your way of casting magic missile.
Well, look, you're talking to a guy who I am a unironic fan of the movie Wizards. Okay. And gun is the most powerful spell ever cast. It destroyed an Archwizard.
Technically, couldn't gun be your wand? I want to explore that concept.
Okay. Okay. Well, here's a perfect
So you
example.
have spell rounds, and you just have to use incantations
wait a
as you fire.
Wait a minute. Here's a perfect example of what we mean by shitty world building. Okay, Harry Potter wants you to believe that magic is extremely potent, right? But they use wooden wands made of wood, and the wood is very particular as to its make, model, and form for function.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
But humanity can print, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 guns a day if we just focused on making gun? And magic doesn't protect you from gun.
It can, but only for so long.
So could I cast specific guns, cast.
AK-47s for everyone.
I'm gonna cast M1 Garand.
Okay. I'm
gonna cast Barrett M1.
Look,
M1A2.
I'm gonna ramble off some of the kind of bullshit that I get up to because you guys don't get to see me as a player
Son,
very often.
We're moving too fast. You haven't weighed in on my gun as one theory yet. I think that's pretty fucking good.
No, I am in fact about to weigh in on your gun as one theory. Okay, but I need to ramble off about me doing player shit and the kind of awfulness that Joe gets up to when he's got free time. Okay, I keep saying to Ty that if she wants to do a wizardly experience, she needs to play Mage the Awakening, right? And she's like, why? So we talk in back and forth. I talk about a better game while she plays a shitty game. Because in matter of point, my takeaway from Hogwarts Legacy is it's kind of boring, right? But the thing is that in Mage the Awakening, yes, your wand can be a gun, if indeed you believe you need to use wands.
Now, could I have a gun as a wand so I could cast other spells while I flag people?
Yes,
because I would be down for that.
But here's the thing. Here's the kind of awfulness that I come up with. Okay, so mages in Mage the Awakening divide reality into 10 arcanum, 10 threads of what is reality. Death, fate, forces, which is the power of physics.
God, I'm about to make a note that's going to look so fucked up if somebody else sees this.
Life, matter, mind, prime, which is the raw stuff of magic, space, spirit, and time. Okay? So, here we go. Step 1. Make an artifact set of paints that allows the user to convert mana, your magical energy, to matter so they never run out of paint. 2. Anything the paint set makes creates an illusionary terrain feature that can be interacted with, i.e. you can step into the painting. Since the painting is real and the illusionary terrain inside it is real, you can store things in it. In particular, memories and access to the soul of entities and summon soul beings from it. This means you can lure people into paintings, trap them in them, and then access their soul and mind through them for direct manipulation of their being. Double fun. If the painting contains a mirror, that illusion object can also be used to access an inner realm, including a reflection of the illusory chamber you're in. So you can hide objects inside a copy of a space that is itself an artificial construct. Extra bad. You add time so that time does not affect the area and reality cannot interfere with it, so time never moves inside the space. You add space so that the painting can allow fast travel between different points to access different non-existent spaces from other non-existent spaces. So I step into a painting and step out of another painting somewhere else that might not even be in reality. You add spirit to access the spirit.
You went over my head like a minute and a half ago, right?
I know.
Okay.
But you add spirit to access the spirit world, and now in addition to summoning people's soul demons, you can summon spirits and put them in illusionary objects that are physical in an unreal location. And because it's mind, you can put the whole thing in somebody's dreamscape so it can only be accessed when they're asleep.
So, okay. So my next question is, could we play a game where my penis is a wand and I have to use Viagra as the power source? The more Viagra I take, the stronger the spells from my penis are.
I'm out of this game.
Could you? Yes, that's a wretched game, but you'd have to roll for heart attacks. We actually talked about this on
for heart attacks.
No, we talked about this on Twitter. I shit you not. Okay. So the Red Room started a discussion about sex in role-playing games, right? And Secrets of Blackmore, who's a well-known guy for selling his documentary about the early days of D&D, said, "Player, I leave the whorehouse after vigorously servicing all the sex workers for the past 12 hours. DM, okay, but you're only a first-level pimp meister, and the rules say you need to roll for save versus die from heart attack failure."
So I added, congratulations, you survived. Unfortunately, you think one of the prostitutes gave you something. I passed them a 3x5 card that describes Mummy's crotch rot that he caught from a zombie. Do you want to investigate this?
Well, see, I was more thinking, Rune, like, you take the Viagra and you have super strong magic, but if the magic lasts more than 4 hours, you have to go see the healer in your group, and then you're out of power for a while.
Right? All right. If you really want to discuss this, and I want to point out this is stupid. All right. If you were going to play World of Darkness,
I wrote on my notebook next to here, Viagra penis wand.
Right.
You think I want to actually seriously discuss this?
You open this barrel, you pay the price. If you actually wanted to play this in World of Darkness, what you do is you take the Viagra and you magically alter it so that it is now a ritual component of spell casting, and then as your in place of hand signs and other gestures, you just have sex. So the sex is now a component of the spell casting. The difficulty is the difficulty is that you have to continuously have the sex, which means that if you lose control of your penis before the spell's complete, it doesn't work.
No, see, what I was thinking though, Rune, is like you're a traditional like Harry Potter wizard where you like wave the wand around, but you just pull your cock out and you wave your cock around.
Right.
No.
But it has to be.
I've got the answer to this though. I've got the answer to this. My titular character, Fartman, and his sidekick, Little Putor, have this under control. See, we let him continue taking the Viagra until all blood flow from his brain goes to his penis and he passes out. And then we win the day and go home and eat chicken wings and drink beer.
I mean, the other option is we Rick and Morty it, and instead of Pickle Rick, Ayrton just turns into a penis.
Motherfucker, I just introduced my titular character, Fartman, and his sidekick, Little Putor.
Right. No, I get it.
So you think gang, Rick and Morty's got shit on me?
That's
so, gang.
That is 1,000 times better.
I'm hitting my my maximum time here on clock for a work night, so I'm gonna go to bed.
Well, it's 4 minutes till end, so if we want to take the 5 minutes to wrap, it's a good time.
Right.
So
I can do 5 minutes.
So I suppose it's the church minute.
Wrap it before you tap it.
Yeah, we turn around and we say, Papa Church, what's our moral for the day?
Well, actually, instead of that, I'd like to give the last 3 to 5 minutes of this show, where we take a moment to discuss how important it was that Hal Jordan was basically sacrificed on the altar of Superman to give birth to Kyle Rayner after the death of Superman.
I mean, it wasn't important,
but it was important. But it was. Until they retconned it like a week later. It was totally important.
That's the thing. None of it was important because we knew that retcon was coming.
But it was important.
No.
But we got Kyle Rayner. We got a crab mask out of it. And fridging, which is the best term to ever come out of comics, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, that was all a bunch of intellectual dishonesty from Gail Simone, but
if there was ever going to be a real comic skate, it would be over fridging.
I mean, if you look at the size of people like Ethan Van Sciver, yes, they're very concerned with fridging.
Hey, look, I'm gonna put on my lefty hat for a minute.
Wait, you take that off?
Yes, I do. Remember, I was being based earlier.
Lefties can be based occasionally.
If there was ever
look at Lost Pixels.
If there was ever any point to the Gamergate bullshit, and there wasn't, and if there was ever a point,
it was about ethics and video games journalism, Rune. How dare you?
I mean, there's that. But if there was also ever a point to the Comicsgate bullshit, and there wasn't, like if we are really fucking charitable, right? It is a reasonable argument in the subject of discussing narratives.
Look, I like to think that without Gamergate, we wouldn't have had Laura Loomer like handcuffing herself outside of Twitter HQ.
I mean, this is true,
and that would have been terrible.
But seriously, if we're really charitable, if there is any one subject that could actually be a reasonable conversation, yeah, maybe we should be not concerned, but asking ourselves questions about, do we need to kill female characters to make
Yes.
male characters better?
Yes.
Well, hold up. The thing is, though, there was actually no numbers to support Gail Simone's thesis.
Oh, I know. I know she's full of shit. That's not the point.
The
Okay.
point is, though, we shouldn't intellectually consider an argument that's based on nothing but intellectual dishonesty.
Exactly.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Well,
Okay.
here's the thing.
Okay,
we're not killing female characters to further male characters, though.
Right, but here's
Kyle's
what I'm
girlfriend was hardly a character to begin
but here's what I'm getting at.
She was set
Okay.
dressing.
But here's what I'm getting at, though, because the point is not actually female characters. The point is you shouldn't actually kill any character just for the purpose of adding drama to a character's primary struggle.
So Bruce Wayne's parents should have lived.
It should fulfill a greater purpose in your narrative, and we need to ask ourselves, why aren't we having those narratives?
We
mean like
did
all
with
the-
Green
hold
Lantern,
up.
though.
Hold up. You mean like all the times that they raped Dick Grayson, and we never talked about that?
Right, that we absolutely should have talked
Commissioner
about,
Gordon.
Or all the times they raped Thor that we never talked about?
which we absolutely probably should have talked about. Like, those things matter and should be talked about, and if we're not talking about them, why? Because we shouldn't be doing them for shock value, right? That's what I'm saying.
Be
Is that,
putting fish penis in comics for shock value.
oh yeah, certainly. But that's what I'm saying. Is that if there was any one almost point, it was that. But that got buried under so much bullshit so fast as to
And
become
also-
a non-issue.
And also, it could have been a point if it weren't for the fact that it's just been a primary facet of literature since the dawn of human history that you have people be concerned about partner violence against their partners.
And then we get to the intellectual dishonesty you mentioned.
No, I'm getting us out of here. And for everything said here tonight is only further proof as to why Secret Wars was the greatest comic ever written. Get us out of here, Ayrton.
Oh wait, hold on. I have one thing to pull up real quick.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That was perfect. And you ruined it.
Good
I
night,
would fire
everybody.
you, but I can't.